Oh my God! Woo!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect, back with you once again. How are you doing this week? Hope everyone's doing good, feeling good, and everything else in the whole world right now and everything. And well, I had a good old time going to AEW's DC show. Going to be going to Rampage this Friday night. And hopefully I see any of y'all fans over there. It'd be nice. Anyway, big news this week in the world of gaming, and well, Microsoft slowly becoming more and more the Disney of it. And probably that's not good because they just said they bought Activision and Activision Blizzard in a $8.7 billion all-cash deal. So, and yeah, this was announced 2 days ago. Actually, it will buy Microsoft announced on Tuesday. It will buy the video game giant Activision Blizzard in a $8.7 billion all cash deal. The price means Microsoft will pay $95 per share for Activision. Activision stock ended the day up more than 25%, closing at $82.31 per share on Tuesday. If you're a stock person, tell me if it's good or bad. Leave something in the comments. Anyway, this will be the big Microsoft's largest acquisition to date, followed by its purchase of LinkedIn in 2016 for $26.2 billion. Activision, and known for popular games as Call of Duty and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, has been mired in controversy for the last several months after reports of sexual misconduct and harassment among the company's executives. On Monday, Activision said it fired a dozen executives following an investigation. Even though Bobby Kotick's still there, I mean, probably going to be, still there. And probably if we leave, we'll only have a sweetheart deal and just give him this golden parachute. Like, the people who enables these abusers and everything else, like, the former CEO like Les Moonves and such, who, did horrible stuff and abused women. Les Moonves did. And never got any consequences. And Bobby Kotick is probably going to get that same deal. Probably is going to, after all of the cultural problems in this country and his company and everything else, well, he's going to not only remain CEO, but I wouldn't be surprised that, after the transition, he's going to leave and have no consequences whatsoever. That is what that is, he's going to make his own new company. I wouldn't be surprised at that either. Because people like Bobby Kotick and all these Les Moonves and everything else, they don't get really in trouble. They don't get any type of consequences. They just get transferred. There's no they get transferred, or they just have their $1 billion golden parachutes. There's no real consequences for them. And I guarantee you, those executives too are not going to find any consequences as well. There will be no consequences for the higher ups, the people who allowed it or probably did do this stuff and everything else. Barely any consequences because this, gaming has all these issues. Again, I look back to the Laura Croft stuff, which back again. This industry, let me bring that story up. Um, you know, I'm gonna bring that up. That's was that's type of stuff. It's these they had that type of um that's that type of all these other those things, because again, it's always been there in the game industry, and you're just not going to see any type of consequences to it. And that to me is one of and not only that, there's going to be still people who are protesting and then will probably be fired. They're going to be fired as well because these big companies and everything else will be there again. If I could just find the you know if I can just see if I can find that article, if I can find it, because right there it's just once again you see these these like I said, this industry has a really terrible problem with this, and that is it's not surprising because you look at the history of these things. You have to look at the history of these um the history of in game stuff. I know I'm repeating myself, but it is there. And when you do have a situation or a system of when you have a system of that, you know, um, a system of just like there's no consequences for no consequences. There is no consequences for these people in these situations. When you have a level of we are not going to have any consequences for the actions, we're not going to have any type of you know punishment. These things will happen, and I don't know if it's even. I'm going to say this: it's not going to um not going to have, you know, you're not going to actually have, unless, again, not just civil charges, you know, I mean, there's not going to be, if you have, if there's no civil charges, that's fine, but I think you need to have criminal charges and such. It needs to have a real hard consequence. There's no real hard consequence for these there's no real hard consequence for these these horrible you know you know these are horrible these terrible actions. And this is the sad truth, is that there is no consequences for these actions of these people who have done this. And some people are like, oh, you're not going to talk about all the cross. I'm like, no. I mean, to me, the video game stuff is going to be the video game stuff, because the video game stuff, Call of Duty and all this stuff, there, you know, that's going to probably be, I wouldn't be surprised that cross over to Halo and everything. But I think this to me is a lot more important. And such, you have to look and see what is important in this discussion. Is the harassment stuff? Is uh, the allegations and harassment, and seeing how these once again people who have the all this stuff, they talk like, oh, we're so progressive, and we're so all this other stuff, we're progressive, we just really help and care about all these communities, we do all this type of stuff. Bull. It's nothing but BS. It's stupid. You know, that to me is it's idiotic to think that you're going to be like, "Oh, well, just okay, they have like a couple a couple of gay people here, you have a couple women here, and that's just everything is just fine." No. I mean, that should not be the case at all. It should not be the case at all of how this stuff works and everything. Um and such, It should not be the way that it is. It shouldn't. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts that that right there is the main issue. And like I said, talking about this subject, uh oh yes, let's see, I think I finally got this. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I got it. You know, see if I could get this right thing here, because yeah, let's see. Because again, it's not new. And people say it's new. It's not. And it's just you have to look once again to way back and such. Um so you have to look into these stores. You have to look and see, you know, how you know how just seeing how these just seeing how that type of yeah, let's see, I think I got it. All right. Here it is. Got it right here. Because I want again and see how this stuff is. Because again, you look and see what the rot's always been here. The rot's always been there, and then at least here, at least there was consequences. People got arrested and such. But the rot's always been here, ladies and gentlemen. The rot has always been here, and that right there, it shows that this industry, the video game industry has these issues. And I don't know if Microsoft's going to fix it or not. You know, I don't know if they're going to fix it or not because at the end of the day, no one's going to have real consequences. There's not going to be any real hard consequences. No one's going to actually go to jail or prison. Nothing's going to really change just for the headlines and firing all the workers who probably were protesting. It sucks, but that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. And I know that's not going to be the most popular, like, oh my gosh, you got to talk about the video games and stuff. I'm like, no, man, I'm not going to talk about that stuff, man, because it's just, it's fine to talk about this or why this stuff happened. Microsoft having all of the games and now like Overwatch and Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Candy Crush, Diablo. Doesn't matter. Those games are pretty much Overwatch has been in 1 and 2, although in a limbo. Diablo is basically DRMs and just doing these stupid fixes have ruined the stuff and World of Warcraft. I mean, everything Blizzard and Activision Blizzard has touched, especially World of Warcraft and everything. The whole, all the other stuff before then, the China controversies and everything else. It's a toxic brand. Activision Blizzard and all this stuff are toxic brands. All right. Just go back here and share this stuff here. I know, but yeah, this is a toxic brand in many other ways. And I mean, Overwatch has stagnated. This has just been, DRMs and all the other online stuff and all the remasters that just ruined the aesthetics of the previous games. Same as the Warcraft series. Warcraft like 2 and 3. You can't unless you can, unless you can somehow, get to play the old school one offline. They'll just handcuff you and force you to play Warcraft 3, the remaster version, which sucks. This is a toxic brand, and I don't think they're going to actually fix these issues. Microsoft, I don't see them fixing these issues. And that's what it is. And with the whole toxic stuff that's going on, the harassment issues and everything that came up with it, People, like I said, the only people who are going to be fired are the ones who are protesting. The one is doing it, and the ones that are just right there, for everyone cheering and everything. At the end of the day, Bobby Kotick is still going to remain CEO, and during the transition, and then after, hit the deal, guess what? He's going to go off his golden parachute. Yep, he's going to depart after the transition. Yep, Kotick could depart after the transition. Yeah, right there. He's going to just depart after the transition. Meaning that he's just going to fly away in his golden parachute. If you're angry about it, I understand that. But don't be happy about, this whole deal and everything. It just, again, Kotick was going to get his golden parachute regardless, all right? That's just the facts right there. But, I had to get that out there and get it all out of my system. I feel good. I feel a little bit better, but yeah, then I'm just, frustrated a bit as well. Just, a lot of people are excited, but I'm just, looking at that bigger picture and seeing the true stuff right there. Anyway, we're going to take a small little break, and we will be right back. And when we return, we're talking the return of Jon Moxley and a little bit of AEW review as well, and the Josh Whedon Terrible interview. That's going to be fun as well. So get back and relax while I listen to some OC remix stuff. This is going to be from OC Remix, and this is from, ladies and gentlemen, the TMNT album from OC Remix, Shell Shocked. Go over and download the stuff right there. So let's look into another stuff here. Let's look at the... All right. I'm going to listen to Hot for April, Turtle Swing from... see right here. That's the next thing we're gonna play. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I get the people right. It is the Too Hot for April, Turtle String, Sixto Sound from OC Remix. The CD, if you download it, is Cell Shocked. Go get it, download it after the podcast, by the way. Anyway, here, listen live here on the Dukect Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect T, back with you once again. Well, this dude's back, baby. And he made a bit of an impression. Of course he did. Jon Moxley. And welp. Yeah, and he dropped F-bomb and told him to get out here. But yeah, this man, oh man, they still started with Moxley. And wow. And you know, it just started with the show and he came in and um just came in and made one hell of a promo, which before that, you know, the drunk man, and then to get the F out of here, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, that type of stuff. He told him get the F out, and then they kicked him out. And then the crowd was quiet for the majority of that promo. And that promo was great. I loved it. And a lot of people loved it too. It was motivating, it felt real, and that's what it is. And Moxley looks great. And it was one of the most, just emotionally just, you know, yeah, you know, and I think actually Dave Meltzer talked about that, and he said he was about this whole thing about Bret Hart's promo slowly after the death of his brother. He said he talked about this to him. He says, "Quote: He was walking to the wing, everyone was cheering like crazy, and then there's always one person." Um, and then he said this, and he said, "Oh yeah, out of one person, Cat called him and said no." And he said he had a great promo and said after that one guy called him, these people didn't deserve this promo. It was like it was one person and that was it. These people don't deserve the promo and he didn't do the promo. Moxie just said F this and went like that and just gave up one of the best promos I heard in a long while. A motivating promo and just spoke from the heart. And a lot of people said thank you for that. You know what? A lot of people were happy about that. So yeah, it was something that promo that came, you know, could have been bad, but in the end, people were just like, you know what? This dude, one asshole, there's always that one asshole. But when you call him out, the majority of people are like, okay. But then um there's another guy, Bully Ray. He he has some words, and this is what it is. His radio show, and he talked about the segment here. It says, "I said he did enjoy." They started off with Moxley. Bully said they came out with a bang, and people were ready for it. Moxley said what he needed to say. However, I would have liked to heard just a little bit of accountability from John. I understand the whole demons thing, and we all use the word demons as a creative word to get around real issues, whether it's alcohol issue, an eating issue, what the hell, an eating issue? Wow, I just amazingly there. Just comparing Tommy Dreamer's eating issue with John Moxley's alcoholism. That's just wow. Okay. Yeah. Bully continue. We have our demons. These demons get the best of John for a time. He had to step away from AEW. I would have liked to heard him say a bit of apology to AEW fan. Most fans were okay with it. They cheered after saying they got that heckler out. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people had their, a lot of people were like good, and I don't think that, like, that was just one fan. He says, "Yeah, and trust me, I came in there when a slew of men and women had their demons. I expect a little more from you. What about the fans who bought tickets to see AEW and John Moxley? Well, John was taking his problems. Very happy that he left and took care of his problem, and he looked really healthy last night, and of everything that he did. I just would love to have a little bit of accountability. I don't know if I'm sorry is necessarily the right word, but maybe endear yourself a little bit to the crowd if you felt you let them down. This is coming from me, the hard ass of all hard asses. Personally, for me, in the same situation, says, guys, I'm sorry if I let you down. I think that was the proper thing to do. I don't think he needed an apology because the majority of the crowd was cheering after he cussed the dude out. Legitimately, like, cheering, and that is what it is. He cheered, and honestly, I'm just um yeah, it's I'm not really upset. Maybe some people are. Maybe feel like bully if you are. Leave some on the comment section. Oh yeah. What's up, G Nation? Actually got the views and the 1849 demo, so there's that. That's true too. Speaking of which, they actually beat Raw this week on the 1849 demo, which just, ooh, that's just gonna be fun. It's just this is gonna get even worse. I mean, WE is getting so bad, and yet I'm going to WrestleMania. I bought my tickets for everything, and so because I want to go up there, I'm just going to just see the arena and such. That's just me. The Dallas arena and all that good stuff. That's was my plan to go see. But yeah, maybe I am part of the problem. I'm part of the problem. Boo me. But yeah, yeah, that's true. It's Bully Ray. I know, Heat Man, but yeah, I just don't think it's I don't think he needed to apologize at all. He's good. Uh he don't need to apologize. That fan deserved that type of stuff. He deserved it. That fan deserved to get a little bit of the a little bit of tongue lashing. That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, the return was great, but also the rest of the night was actually good too. It was a lot of simple stuff there. The mixed tag match was fun. Just wish it reminded me a bit of the mixed match challenge in WWE with all the little quirks that the character the wrestlers did. It was like, man, it reminded me of the mixed match challenge. If you remember that, it was the old WE put that on Facebook, which I don't know why they put it on Facebook and they had the network at the time. I'm like, sure, whatever. You know, then again, it does says a tactile type of defeat of like, your network will have the replay of the replay, but not the live version and such. It's a bit of a defeat you have there, WE, about that. Because man, that was actually fun. But yeah, just really fun stuff of the entire show. Um, and not only the Moxie promo was good, I really like that the promo, Pac, coming in with his blindness against um Black, which gosh, that was really good. The bastards about out of reach, you know, and he just took the blindfold off and just showed his eyes. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of things I really liked in the show. Really, and also guess what? I saw the pre stuff for Dark Elevation, which looked, I saw some really good matches there. I really felt so, bad for like Willow, who supposedly she had to face Brandy, which, well, let's just say things, didn't go well for Willow, which I believe she should be signed, by the way. Willow Nightingale should be signed to AEW since they have a TBS 2 women's division. They should sign her because she's great. She is awesome. You know, that's what I think she would be perfect for that. That's me, but that's just me, man. But yeah, overall the show was fun. Darby Allin and Sting. Sting's crazy and Darby's still crazy. But yeah, overall it was a really interesting type of a show right there. Really interesting, good stuff. Rampage looks to be good as well. I can't wait to see what stuff is going to be what's going to be on a Friday show. So that's why I feel like Jon Moxley was great. Calling out the heckler was great. Bully Ray's an idiot. And that's it. And speaking of idiots, we're going to get into the Josh Whedon stuff, which, oh, Lordy Lord. Josh Whedon, oh, sweet Lord. Talk about idiots. Oh man, oh man, oh man. We're gonna have some stuff to talk about. Hope you're ready for this one. This is we're gonna be talking about this one. Oh man, this interview. I'm gonna take a break here so I get some water to get my throat. Oh, I'm gonna make sure I don't stop or cough or whatever. Because this right here, ooh, it is the just this right here is pure. It's greatness right here. This is just the absolute worst stuff here. Worst PR attempt to come back from in forever. Uh-oh. And remove. No spam for you. There you go. And let's see. Spam. And boom. Just no time for spammers. Clean them out. All right, but I gotta take a little break. We'll be right back. We're gonna be talking about this here. Let me get some good some music from the Cell Shocked OC remix. Good stuff here. I'll listen to some of that. How about some Star Turtles 2, The Wrath of Man, Starbase, the theme of Half Shell, by the Snugglemen. Oh, that's gonna be fun. All right, so listen to a little bit of that, and we'll be right back here in the Dukect Lounge. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And here we are at the. No, it's no time to talk. It's time for the main event. And oh boy, Josh Whedon, we have a lot of stuff to get into with this article. I read the whole thing back to back, cover to cover, and honestly, Vulture, that's actually pretty much what he did and everything else. I think that pretty much puts it right there. But this right here, this article and such. But let's look at the. Oh gosh, let me see. Right, I love this one. First, they had a T-shirt in 2005 said this: "Josh Whedon is my master now." How cringe! It was like, no. How sad was that? And the Avengers, which was okay, and then Age of Ultron, just terrible. And I will always say that. People say, "Oh, Josh Whedon did us so terrible." I was always saying Age of Ultron is terrible. It was always bad. It always will be bad. But anyway, now we get to, his 2017 ex-wife, just emotional. His ex-wife Kai Cole published a sensational open letter about him on the movie called The Wrap, condemned him as a hypocrite preaching feminist ideas. Of course, yep, not really surprised, and saying that he was all this toxic stuff back with the set of Buffy and actually, cheating on her, saying and such. And then you had all the stuff that's going on with the Ray Fisher, Accountability Entertainment, Gal Gadot, all this stuff. So mistreated him with just his behavior as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. And then you have Charisma Carpenter, who played Cordelia on Buffy and Angel. Long Twitter post said actually became pregnant. I can't speak. Actually become pregnant heading into Angel Force season. Called her fat to colleagues and summoned her into his office to ask, as she recalled, if she was going to keep it. Yeah, just kill it off if you want to have your career or whatever. Just just lovely stuff right there, ladies. Just absolutely lovely stuff from this feminist, this supposed feminist, man. Supposedly feminist behavior. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Uh-huh. Yeah, he got remarried. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm terrified of every word that comes out of his mouth. And after this interview, and after this, you know what? You will see why he is terrified. Dude does not know what he's doing. Oh Lord, this is just going to be. Oh, this is just going to be a whole thing. Oh yeah, God. Hmm. Yeah, it's childhood. Which, by the way, let's see. Where's that story? If I can find it. Mm-hmm. There's some stuff here. Right here. I love this one. Whedon was the youngest of three boys, soft, slight, and anxious. He had long red hair that caused people to mistake him for a girl, which he says he didn't mind. He identified with the feminine, a testament maybe to his connection with his mother. She was capricious and withholding, but she frightened him less than his father, especially his brothers, Admiral Monsters, who bullied the shit out of him. Sorry for that. Bullied the mess out of him. You can see there on the weekends and summers. He would pass his mornings pacing the long driveway of the family's second home, a farmhouse near Shindakity, making up science fiction universes, or um, plotting elaborate revenge on his brothers. So yeah, he spends his days with that. And here's something really messed up. And he quotes some Vincent Price voice. He says, "And now I'll tell a horror real." He says, when he was like 5, a 4-year-old boy of his son of family friends disappeared on his parents' property upstate. Eventually, his body was found. He had drowned in a pool. Years later, as a teenager, we remember had called the boy over to the pond to play with him. After getting bored, he walked away, leaving the boy alone by the water. He said, Whedon's like, I don't think it was my fault. I knew I was 5, but it didn't just disappear as I thought. It took him another 30 years, he said, before another thought dawned on him. Even after the incident, his parents never taught him to swim. There was no structure. There was no safety. So yeah, this dude basically could have, you know, took that. Yeah, might have as a as a toddler, might have took out, might have, helped a 4-year-old boy to his demise. And it gets, I would say, that's one people not really want to talk about. It's the other stuff, but this one, this is yeah, this, and then he comes up with a Vincent Price voice jokingly about this. Like, yeah, I might have had, when I was 5 years old, I could have maybe might have killed a 4-year old. Like, what the? Just admit that he might have killed like another toddler at his age. Like, what? Where was his parents, by the way? Where were his parents? Wow. Yeah, that's that kid did that. Yeah. Okay, let's continue on because it gets getting more more worse, a lot worse and such. It starts right there, and it just keeps keep digging down. Then again, I don't know how you can dig down with we could say I'm not gonna go into what I really think because yes, I don't want to get sued or whatever, but it's there. So he might have led this toddler, the same age as him, around the same age, into his demise, which is so messed up, very messed up. Uh huh. Here's something interesting. Um, he got a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. He says, right here, he discovered he was capable of, like, he admired strong women like his mother, yet he discovered he was capable of hurting them, usually by sleeping with them and ghosting or whatever. Wow. And he says, I have seen the enemy and he's in my brain. Mm, yep. And yeah, and that's even complex, yada, yada, yada. And let's see. hmm Talk about the early stuff on the internet. Let's see. Um, let's see. You know, put it in here. Let's see what. And party. Uh huh. Science was. Okay, when Buffy never ran a show before. Yada yada yada. Let's see what else. Oh, a sort of cult personality formed around Whedon. Once a month, he would invite his favorite cast and crew members to his house. They would hold Shakespeare readings in the amphitheater that Cole, an architect, had built in the backyard. It was part like being part of this little family, said an actress who was in the inner circle for a time. One Buffy writer recalled Whedon signing posters for every member of the writing staff. It stood around as he bestowed each of them with personal words of wisdom like a girl to heal scenes like this were not uncommon. The standard reaction to Josh was worship. Mm, yeah, that is not healthy. Um, you know, That is messed up. Let's see. Let's, let's see what else here. Another one here saying, let's see, Miracle Laurie, an actress on the Whedon 2009 series Dollhouse, was a size 12 when she got the job. Whedon told her not to go on a diet. He was trying to show that a size 12 woman is normal, sexy, beautiful, and strong. She said, I still get people coming up to me saying how much it meant to them. I felt celebrated by him. Like many I interviewed, she was surprised to hear colleagues felt differently. But looking back, she remembered glimpsing another side of Whedon. I saw his kindness and his good intention, she said. And I also saw the snarkiness, the fickleness, where I would not want to be on that other side. Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Buffy costume designer Cindy Bergstrom recalled an incident that happened during filming of season 5. In one episode, Spikes asked a sadistic science nerd to create a sex swap version of the Slayer. Whedon and Geller did not agree on what the Buffy bot should wear. Sarah was adamant about it being a certain way, Bergstrom said. The costume she wanted was a bit grandma-ish, a pleated skirt and a high neck. You definitely wanted it to be sexier. On the day Geller tried different options, Ween go frustrated. I was like, Josh, just get her dressed. Bergson recalled. He grabbed my arm, dug his fingers to his fingernails, and put it in the stem. And I said, "You're hurting me." Okay. And let's see. And here's another one here. A Firefly writer remembered him belittling a colleague for writing a script that wasn't up to par. Instead of forgiving her notes privately, he called a meeting up with the entire writing staff. It was basically 90 minutes of vicious mockery, the writer said. Josh pretended to have a slide projector and he read her dialogue out loud and pretended he was giving a lecture on terrible writing as he went through the slides and made funny voices. Funny for him. The guys were looking down at their pages, and this woman was fighting tears the entire time. I had my share of shitty showrunners, but the intent to hurt, that's the thing that stands out for me now. Huh? Yeah, not really, it just continues on like this. So only using the position of power to belittle people, and says he's actually a good person, whatever. Hmm. Also, a high level member of the Buffy production team recalled Whedon's habit of writing really nasty notes, but that wasn't what disturbed her the most about working with him. Whedon was rumored to be having affairs with two young actresses on the show. One day, he and one of the actresses came into her office while she was working. She heard a noise behind her. They were rolling around, making out. They would bang. They would bang into my chair. How can you concentrate? It was gross. Yeah, having sex on a production staff chair. Well, that's just at that point, just take the chair out into the trash and get another one, or maybe move to a different office. But just the unprofessional, the unprofessionalism, you know, yeah, unprofessionalism, and this happened more than once. Of course, it did. It's like these actions proved he had no respect for me and my work. She quit the show even though she had no job. She's like, I'm not gonna feel embarrassed about this. She kept going, and there was alleged incidences. Two Buffy actors wrote about on their social media last year. Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Buffy's younger sister, claimed there had been a rule forbidding Whedon from being alone in a room with her on set, which is the Mike Pence rule at that point. Like, that stuff. You remember that rule and that little meme. But Whedon told me he had no idea what she was talking about, and Trachtenberg didn't want to elaborate. One person who worked closely with her on Buffy told me an informal rule did exist, though it was possible Whedon was not aware of it. During the 7th season, when Trachtenberg was 16, Whedon called her into his office for a closed-door meeting. The person doesn't know what happened, but recalled Trachtenberg was shaken afterwards. An adult in Trachtenberg's circle created the rule in response. Oh, boy. Oh, the pictures here are not painting a very pretty picture. The story of Whedon's conflict with Carpenter is less obscure. The actress has been talking about it with fans and reporters for more than a decade. The tensions with Whedon developed well before her pregnancy. By her own account, she suffered extreme anxiety and struggled to hit her marks and memorize her lines. Whedon, obsessed with word-perfect dialogue, was not always patient. When after she moved over to Angel, she got a tattoo of a rosary on her wrist, even though her character was working for a vampire, a creature repelled by the cross. Another time, she chopped off her long hair in the middle of filming an episode. In a Twitter post, Carpenter seemed to blame Whedon for her performance problems. She wrote that his cruelty intensifies her anxiety. She got to that too, she explained, to help her feel spiritually grounded in a volatile work environment. When Whedon acknowledged he was not civilized back then. Dude's barely civilized now. If you look at that stuff now. He's like, oh, I was young. It's always that excuse. I was young. I was this. I'm like, no, man. I'm not believing that stuff, man. There are rules in doing that stuff. But then again, it's Hollywood. Hollywood they don't care about that type of stuff, professionalism and anything else. They don't care. So, yeah. They always say I was young and I was naive. I had no power. I didn't know and everything. That's the turn back excuse for everyone else. But I guarantee you that his mom or some of the parents told him not to do most of these things of, not cheating on, doing adultery or, scaring young 16-year-olds or something like that. Maybe I don't know when that type of morality and such there, but you could just say, I was young, who cares? Or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and he comes and says, "Oh, if I'm saying it, it will be a problem for me." The costume's other side grabbed her arm. I don't believe that. I know I would get angry, but I was never physical with people. Hmm. Yeah, it says he made out with an actress in someone's office. That seems false. I don't understand the story a little bit. I should run to the loo. When he came back, he said the story didn't make sense to him because he lived in terror of his affairs being severed. Okay. And he says he has regrets about how he spoke with Carpenter after learning she was pregnant. I was not mannerly. Most of my experience with charisma were delightful and charming. She struggled sometimes with the lines, but no one can hit a punch line harder than her. I asked if he called her fat when she was pregnant. I did not call her fat. You could be quiet. Of course I didn't. But he did call other part women fat. Rebecca X, as she asked to be called, was also known as Rebecca Rand Kirshner when she wrote for the last 3 seasons of Buffy. Since then, she has dropped her patriarchal last name. She saw Whedon at a photo shoot at a few years after the show ended, when she was 3 weeks away from giving birth. I was happy to see Josh, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you're fat." She knew he was joking, but she didn't find it funny. Did it hurt me? Yes. Did I say, hey, I got a baby here? What's your excuse? In so many words, yes. But I think he was actually slim at that point. My point is, it was a dick move, but I wouldn't call it abuse. All right, let me just continue going to that. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. The second day of interviews. Let's see. Wow. This right here. He's asked Whedon about his affairs on the set of Buffy. He looked worse than he had the day before. His eyes were faintly bloodshot. He hadn't slept well. I felt fucking terrible about them. When I pressed him on why, he noted it messes up the power dynamic. But he didn't expand on that thought. Instead, he quickly added that he felt he had to sleep with them. That he was powerless to resist. But dude, like, you had no options? Really? That it was such like you being a cheating asshole was so much of a power struggle. Like, I can't help myself. I have to do this. I'm like, Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, been surrounded by beautiful young women. The shorter one who had ignored him when he was younger. Yeah, he felt that if he didn't have sex with them, he'll always regret it. Meanwhile, he was married at the time. Hmm. My gosh, that is really is pathetic, pathetic behavior. But yeah, that is just wow. He said he will always regret it. But looking back, he feels shame and horror. He said, I thought of something he told a vampire. He said, is the exiled outsider, the creature that feels less than everybody else, and also more than everyone else. There's just insecurity and arrogance. They do a little dance. Ugh. But those have actually, Buffy ended in 2003, but his affairs did not. He slept with employees, fans, colleagues. He just slept with everybody. Everyone. Yeah, he was powerless, aka he just wanted strange. That's what it was. He just wanted strange. That is, yeah, all exactly. And hmm of course, and of course, right here it says he always had a lot of female friends, but he told me it was because his mother raised him as a feminist. And the former wife, Kai Cole, such as said this right here, saying the mother raised him as feminist, so he just like women better. See, well, after learning he has been deceiving her, lying, he lied to her for 15 years. 15 years of just actually just cheating on her. She was diagnosed with a complex post-traumatic stress disorder, the same conditions as him. I want the people who worship him to know that she is human. No, he's a complete piece of crap. Well, piece of you know what. Uh, He's like he spoke with the person spoke with three women who dated him after his marriage ended. And by the way, if you are gonna do, why can't they just get a divorce? Why is this like keeping a marriage together while you're sleeping with people? Why can't they just break up? Did they have a kid or anything? You know, I just want to see if he had a kid with her. Because if that's the case, even then, I just want to see if he had a kid with her or something. Um, let's see. Oh, he has two kids. Yeah, he has two kids. Yeah. Yeah, he has two kids. But I don't know, man. Again, yes, two kids. Why Sting would say with someone? Why are you gonna like? I always say if this person's not connecting with you or whatever, why stay with them? Why are you gonna put that person through that much hurt and betrayal? I never got that. I never got that in anything else. Why you want to stick with someone if you are going to break their heart so many times to a point that he has PTSD? Man, you don't got PTSD, man. You just got strange. You got caught. That's what happened. Anyway, continuing on. He was like he spoke to the women at the reporter spoke with the three women who dated Whedon after his marriage ended. In their stories, he was not the hero they read about in the press, the one who wanted to see women in control. He was more like the cold-blooded man he depicted in his work. Sarah Essendon met Whedon when he was promoting Age of Ultron. She was a 22-year-old freelance writer who interviewed him for a pop culture website. After the piece was published, they began a sexual relationship. He led me to believe he was single, she said. One night, she went out for drinks alone with a friend Rena wanted her to meet. After the friend mentioned she had a long-term boyfriend, Sarah asked what his name was. I'm dating Joss Whedon. Whoa! He tried to just pull two women at the same time. Wow. Mm. And she just like went in the bathroom and throw up and just like, what in going on? What is he playing at? I don't know. Mm. This is Aaron. Then the next one, Aaron Shea, the television writer who moonlights as a psychic medium, got involved with reading in 2003 while working as a showrunner assistant on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a series he created with one of his younger half brothers and the brother's wife. He was 29, she was 23, and a virgin. One day, Whedon texted her with an unusual request. Would she come over to his house for the weekend to watch him write? He would pay $2,500, more than Shay made in a month as an assistant. There was one caveat: she had to hide it from her bosses. This is some Harvey Weinstein type of stuff, man. Probably asked her to like watch him write naked or something like that. Ugh. They dated off and on in secret for nearly a year before she slept with him. Not long after, he sent her a brief email telling her he couldn't have a girlfriend. Several years later, she made a 10-hour YouTube series called Aaron the Snake Whisperer that chronicled the painful consequences of the relationship. Surrounded by candles and crystals, she described their relationship as abuse of power. It's like, and her quote is like this: "People like Josh outset their trauma on other people in exchange for their energy and their energy to keep going, to keep themselves alive. Almost. That's why he's so good at the vampire narrative." Yeah, he should have handled the situation better. No shit. When we met, when Arden Lay met Whedon in 2012, she was a sex educator in her 20s and author of The New Rules of Attraction, a book about being a female pickup artist. She picked him up at a club. After the second date, Whedon sent her DVDs of Dollhouse. The heroine, played by Buffy alum Eliza Dushku, has no friends, no family, and no personality. A secret corporation has used the best times of race man to turn into a doll. A living rollout to cater to the dark sides of a company's wealthy clients. Some critics argue the premise was sexist, but Lay, who worked as a professional dominatrix, related to the dolls and was moved by Whedon's description of them. She and Whedon began a relationship as owner and doll. For the most part, she found it gratifying, and she believed he did too. Whedon told Lay he identified with a character in Dollhouse, Topher, the nerdy scientist who prints the dolls with their personalities. It's not a flattering comparison. As Topher colleagues point out, he was picked to work at the dollhouse because he had no morals. He always had a thought of people as playthings. This is not judgment. You always take good care of your toys. The last line is disingenuous. Toffa doesn't take good care of his dolls. In the end, according to Lay, neither did Wheaton. On Dollhouse, she reminded me bad dolls are menace to the attic, a room where they are forced to relive their worst nightmares over and over. In the epilogue to New Rules of Attraction, Lay wrote that one of her worst memories was of a boyfriend breaking up with her on her birthday. Whedon read the book and they talked about the epilogue in 2015, hours before her birthday. He came over to her house and told her the relationship was over. My goodness, this man here. This is amazingly. He is just so terrible. He was like, what I could do to Adrian that would be her worst nightmare. That would have been it, she said. Joss destroyed a beautiful thing just to show he had the power to. That's literally everything you need to know about him. Of course. Yeah, this man is just completely and totally terrible. So terrible with women and such. We not even got to the racist stuff either. Uh oh gosh. Mm-hmm. Yep, he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he calls himself holy fool. Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not holy. Mm-hmm. And the Wonder Woman stuff is basically creepy and sexist stuff, which you can still find the um you know the old Wonder Woman screenplay I've written surface online. It's terrible, and you can see a little bit of it in the Joss Whedon version of Justice League is a little bit of Wonder Woman being being like flattened by the Flash and stuff like that, put her in very compromising positions. And that's right here. It's like, you cannot tell me Joss Whedon didn't write the original Wonder Woman script while furiously cranking his hog, Wonder Woman tweeted. And then that year, Whedon took a job of doing rewrites for Warner Brothers film Justice League, a DC project directed by Zack Snyder. For two white men in the 50s making comic book flicks, he and Snyder could hardly have been less creatively and less physiologically aligned. While Whedon's superhero epics lean levied by irony and wordplay, Snyder's were brooding and self-important, with visual style to run artificially of a video game with the fastest stack of a. I don't know. I don't see more. I see more fascism stuff in the Marvel stuff. If you look a little bit more, and such like that, maybe it's more of a softer version of fascism. But that's just me. Batman v Superman, which made over $800 million box office, the return just didn't do a falter box office, offended critics with L. Scott going farther Snyder. His corporate backers had no evident motive to produce such a joyous specter of power beyond their own advertisement, which is so BS. If you watch, the original cut is fine. To me personally, the extended cut to me is probably one of the best superhero films of all time, but that's just me. I could be wrong, but whatever. All right. Said he asked him to fix it and thought he could help. Whedon didn't. He said now regards as one of the biggest regrets of his life. Yeah. At first, the studio executive told Whedon his role would be restricted to writing and advertising. But soon it became clear to Whedon they had lost faith in Snyder's vision and wanted to take full control. A representative from Warner Brothers denied this. Snyder has publicly stated he left the project to spend time with his family after his daughter died by suicide 2 months earlier. He was working through that type of personal and horrific tragedy, Snyder. And man, that was terrible, man. Yeah, that stuff here. Whedon now, and then you have Whedon come in as director, share oversaw nearly 40 days of reshoot, a complicated, laborious undertaking from the start. Things were tense between him and the stars. It wasn't just that he wanted to impose a new vision of their work. He introduced an entirely different style of management. So, had given the actors exceptional license with the script comes to add the dialogue. Whedon expected them to say the lines exactly as he would in them. That didn't go well at all. One crew member told me. Told him. Told the person who wrote the article. Some actors criticized his writing. By Whedon's account, Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, says that he, director of the highest grossing superhero movie of all time, didn't understand how super movies work. And you know what? Looking at Age of Ultron, I agree with that 100%. In fact, you can look back at the Avengers too. You really want to get more of a critical eye. But I guess okay. At one point, Whedon paused the suit, and according to the crew member, announced that he never worked with a ruder group of people. The actors fell silent. The actors, at least some of them, felt Whedon had been rude too. Ray Fisher, a young black actor who played Cyborg in his first major role, Snyder had sent him as its character, which honestly, when you look at it, it was really good. Snyder kept really performs that as the first black superhero hero in the DC movie. Well, if you want to count still, no one does, but including myself. But in a DC universe movie and such, that's great. He treated Fisher as a writing partner, as what Snyder wanted to do, soliciting his opinions on the film's representation of black people. Whedon downsized Cyborg's role, cutting scenes that in Fisher's real challenge stereotypes. When Fisher raised concerns about the visiting the phone call, Whedon cut it off, saying, "It feels like I'm taking notes right now," Whedon told him. And he didn't like, and according to Hollywood Reporter, and I don't like taking notes from anybody, not even Robert Downey Jr. Gal didn't care about Whedon's style either. Last year, she told reporters Whedon threatened her and said he would make her career miserable. Whedon told me he did no such thing. I don't threaten people. Who does that? He concluded she had misunderstood him. English is not her first language, and I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech, he recalled. And then she would said, "Oh, I understand. Oh, no." And I love the response she had. She's like, "No, I understand English perfectly." Yeah, right there. She understood English perfectly. So again, she knew exactly. And when we see what happened in the pictures we've already have with Whedon, you know who was actually like, okay, he was going to threaten her. Yeah, she was told her jokingly she would have to tie her to a road track and do it over the dead body. Then I was told that I had something about her dead body and tying her to a rail track. Exactly, right there. I love that perfectly right there. The whole I understood perfectly. Boom. I love that. Again, I do not agree. And then Whedon claimed didn't threaten people. An actress, yeah. As a Whedon's claim that he doesn't threaten people, an actress on Angel told the person writing this that hadn't been true back when she knew him. After her agent pushed her to get her for a raise, she claims Whedon called her at home and said she was never going to work for him or 20th Century Fox again. Reading and reading. God, those quotes thought, wow, he's still using that line. I know what? I wouldn't be surprised by that stuff too. Mm-hmm. And we get to the Snyder Cut stuff. But yeah, and they did, and the movie's really good too. And yeah, we got the smell parts and all that. Yep. And then we get to the racist stuff here. And here we are. And this time, well, while posting his racism, Fisher posted a series of tweets accusing Whedon of abusing his power and changing studio executives with enabling the director in a Forbes interview. Fisher said he'd been told Whedon used color correction to change the actor's color complexion because he didn't like the actor's skin tone. Let me just see. Right there. Man, with everything 2020's been, that was the turning point for me. Fisher did not respond to multiple interview requests. He probably didn't want to do this at all. Whedon was stunned. He's given the whole movie a lighter look, writing everything in post-production, including the faces. He said the claim that he didn't dislike the character's skin tone, which was immediately retracted, was false and unjust. Whedon said he cut down Cyborg's role for two agent. The storyline logically they made no sense. True, it actually fits making more things perfectly using Cyborg and fixing most of the plot holes and all the stuff that, there was emotion there. It felt much more cohesive to the story. And he thought the acting was bad, which is not even close to be true. Ray Fisher acting is actually pretty damn good here. And it's a shame that we're not going to see this version of Cyborg again. And yeah. And Whedon was alone that way, but the testing reviewers deemed Cyborg the worst of all characters in the film. Despite that, Whedon insists he spent hours discussing changes with Fisher and that their conversations were friendly and respectful. None of the claims Fisher made in the media were either true or meant discussions. Whedon told me he can only think of one way to explain Fisher's motives. We're talking about Melissa Force. He said in these quotes, we're talking about a bad actor in both sense. Oh, and by the way, this article was released during Martin Luther King Day. Oh, that is mm, mm. So good. So good. We're not good. Oh, that's just missing the points and everything else. And now we're seeing the defenders here saying, "Oh, Fisher's doing this. They're all trying to tear down our god, Josh Whedon and such." And somehow, and they speculated, it's quote, that Zack Snyder had tricked Ray Fisher into thinking Whedon was racist. Fisher knew perfectly well his allegations were BS. Either way, the director had manufactured a controversy to make Snyder seem like a professor's ally while diverting attention to all that the early cut has been a disaster. Whedon advocates believe this campaign had poisoned Carpenter against Whedon, causing her to see the complicated story of their relationship as a simplistic narrative abuse. When someone lights a fuse, people see there's a flame, and they run to it and throw stuff into it, one person in Whedon's circle said. And Snyder declined to be interviewed because he didn't think I don't know, man. This stuff. And the more I look at this interview, it's like, man, Whedon calls all this stuff, man. Ugh. And Sacha says, in our conversation, Whedon was somewhat more circumspect. I don't know who started it. I just know whose name it was done. Snyder's fans were attacking him online as a bad feminist and a bad husband. They don't give a fuck about feminism, he said. Please. Said the man who used power dynamics to sleep with actresses and everything else. Oh, yeah. Unless that is part of the feminist doctrine, you know. Maybe it is. Maybe some feminists agrees. This is the version of feminism that is Whedon has. Maybe that is his. Maybe that's the real version of feminism. Just using your power to sleep with hot women and and cheat on your wife multiple times and lied to her multiple times. Maybe that's one of the main pillars of feminism. We don't know. I don't know. Someone might make that into an argument or whatever. But yeah. I was made a target by my ex-wife, and people exploit that cynically. He explained, yeah. Oh gosh. Man, just, of course, he's putting himself on the cross. Like, get off the cross, man. Like he's saying, quote, oh, she put out a letter saying some bad things I'd done and saying some untrue things about me. But I'd done the bad things so people knew I was gettable. Oh, goodness. Get off the cross, man. Take some responsibility. And he won't. And when the stuff came out, it was great. And a lot, like I said, Snyder Cut came out. And Whedon had intentionally, in some season release first put by Fisher that Whedon had intentionally erased people of color from the film. A Rockerville had taken place. 15 years later, Snyder's work was finally seen as the problematic cinema. His breakout effort 300, a sword and a sandal epic about the Persian Wars, was so overly racist, no. In view of UN delegation from Iran that had been a clash of civilizations. Okay. Now the internet has recast Snyder as a progressive hero while bringing Whedon as its progressive hero from yesterday as a villain and bigot. The beginning of the internet raised me up, and the modern internet pulled me down. The perfect symmetry is not lost on me. Oh goodness, he's gonna start wearing cancel culture shirts or something. At Whedon House, his wife Warren would occasionally come into the living room bringing tea and dark chocolates. But I asked where they met. She said, right here. A mutual friend introduced them in the winter of 2019. After learning, Whedon has bought several paintings, including a self-portrait. She was greeted by an image of herself when she walked into his home. By then, Whedon has begun seeking treatment for sex and love addictions, along with addictive tendencies. And yeah, James Franco, Kevin Spacey, Harry Weinstein, a great, lovable group he's in. Josh Whedon, that's a beautiful group, and have all taken similar paths. Was he using a page out of his own crisis manager playbook? And Whedon said he generally committed to the work. I decided to take control out of my life, or try. The first thing I did with her was tell her about my patterns, which was not my MO. I couldn't shut up because I finally found someone I found more important to me. Life was good, also bad. Having overcome the isolation and ridicule of his childhood, he found himself in the role of social outcast once more. He's still an agent, but it seemed like no one wanted to work with him. At Fisher's urging, Warner had concluded a series of investigations into the Justice League production. It still won't disclose its findings, but in late 2020, it announced remedial action had been taken. A few weeks earlier, HBO revealed Whedon will no longer serve as showrunner of The Nevers, a science fiction series about women with supernatural powers. The network scrubbed his name from still marketing materials. Over the last year, some of his fans have tried to scrub him out too, erasing him from narratives about what made Buffy great, and posting essays that have downplayed his role in the show's development, pointing out that many people, including many women, were critically important to the success. It may be hard to accept that Whedon could have understood that pain of a character like Buffy, a woman who endures infidelity, attempted rape, and endless violence. But the belief that her story was something other than projection of his psyche is ultimately just another fantasy. Whedon did understand his pain, his own, some of the pain he once put it to me, spilled over to the people around him, and some of it was channeled into his art. We once wrote a line that could have served as a warning to all of us. In Firefly, one of the crewmen's Janie accidentally tosses the spoils of a botched robbery into the hands of the town's poor. Jane is not a good man. When he returns to town years later, he sees that its residents have erected a statue in his honor. When he confides to the captain that he's unsettled by this development, the captain just stares to the distance. It's my estimation that every man ever got a statue made of him was one kind of son of a bitch or another. He says, it ain't about you, Jane. It's about what they need. Nobody ever fell from a pedestal. Nobody ever fell from a pedestal into anything but a pit. Whedon told me on a call one day. 3 months had passed since our conversation at his house. At the time, he finally made peace with himself, he said. Could I have done the marriage better? Yes, don't get me started. Could I have been the best showrunner? Absolutely. Should I have been nicer? He should have said the question, but he perhaps he could have been more calmer and more direct. But would that not compromise the work? Maybe the problem was he's been too nice. He said he wanted people to love him, which meant he was direct and people thought he was harsh. In any case, he decided he was done worrying about that, and people have been using every weaponizable word of the modern era to make him seem that he was an abusive monster. He said, I think I'm one of the nicest showrunners that has ever been. And the article ends with that quote. Oh! Woo! Ooh, boys and girls, that, like friends, that is an article. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that exciting? Wasn't that entirely? That is so. Oh, that is complete and total. Just the mountains of BS on here is amazing. Purely amazing. I have never seen this type of stuff here, and he got dragged, and deservingly so. And the rehabilitation tour, as I look upon social media, is not going all well for him. But maybe some other Hollywood director is going to look at him and say, "Oh yeah, we'll hire him, and we'll forgive him." And why can't you forgive? Forgiveness is important and such. I'm like, no. The forgiveness is earned. He hasn't earned a dang thing. Joss Whedon is, honestly, this pretty much proves my point. That man is, just not just, he is creatively bankrupt nowadays. He's morally bankrupt. And back in those days, at least he had some type of talent and such. But now, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. And majority, I don't. Oh, at this point, maybe the 10-foot pole is not long enough. But here we are. Joss Whedon, that interview, I don't think it's gonna help you, buddy. I don't see that happening. But maybe I'm wrong. And that thing is gonna come back, and he's gonna make more movies, and maybe get back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and make some more quips and jokes and such. Who knows? But right now, looks like we done. And then also done with. All right. And there we go. And spam. There we are. Clean this stuff up. Make sure it's nice and clean. Yeah, clean up this chat. That's just me. That's good. Always clean up the chats. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We're ending this thing right now. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Click all that good stuff, man. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Dukect will be back. The lounge will be back. But also, live streams will be back. I'm going to try to do one in the afternoon before we go to Rampage. That's the hope. But until then, it's Dukect here. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.